The most difficult speech that anyone can give is to speak to a people who are already inspired, is to speak to a people who already know. Then ask yourself the question, what is new? Mine becomes even more difficult as a student when I am being tasked to speak after my lecture. So, Mr. MC, when next you are doing this, I will advise that you ask students to speak first, so that when lecturers come, they can quietly rectify the mistakes we made. I am elated and satisfied to be in your midst this morning for one fundamental reason. You have heard the previous speakers. 14 years ago, when we began the journey to ensure that this republic has structured learning in journalism, it was under difficult circumstances. It was under great uncertainties. And here we are. Some of us might have run away, but Mr. Mendy and his team decided to march on, and I think they deserve a round of applause. I have heard the success stories. What I have not heard is that this institution supported the then National Training Authority to develop the first ever comprehensive curriculum for journalism education in this country. Tonight is twofold. One, we are celebrating for every one of you. MAJAC management and staff are celebrating because they have delivered through teaching and learning. You, the graduates, are celebrating because the institution of MAJAC has found you, as University of the Gambia will coin it, worthy in both learning and in character to go serve our society. So tonight is a day of all of us, and we should celebrate. Equally, occasions like these are meant for us to reflect. And tonight's reflection, as I understand it, is to assessing how the objective of knowledge can be utilized to shaping our destiny. Professor Gomez referenced history as the foundation, and we are quite in agreement. Because history is not simply a collection of events or dates. It is the foundation that enables us to understand what happened yesterday to give him birth to today. And it will enable us to process today to architect the future. And what has been written in an indelible ink is that the history of the Republic of the Gambia will never be complete without the history of journalism in this country. Professor Gomez highlighted so. When colonialism was at its peak, journalists in the media sounded the drumbeats of freedom. That is why we heard the stories of E.F. Small. We learned about the logic of reasoning. to the extent of declaring that there shall be no taxation without representation. Then came the Second Republic. We know about newspapers like The Sun or The Punch. We know about journalistic works on corruption, on trials, on wrongful doings. We know about the Samuel Osesars, the Chornojalos. We know about the Louis Thomases. The list goes on and on. Then came in the Second Republic. The media did not bow. We know about the Data Hydras. We know about the Pandering Bites. And the list goes on and on. And at the dawn of a new republic, Professor Gomez told us that the media must not bow. And not bowing is what you have tasked me this morning to assess. How do we utilize journalism to shaping the democratic future? At first instance, I wonder whether there was actually anything to say. But having listened to my own teacher, I believe students can equally have a say. Now that you are being graduated into society, you have to deliver to that society. In fact, as human beings, we owe everything to our society, from birth to death. And we have to deliver to society with dedication, with will, with determination, and with commitment. Our journalists must serve us both as citizens and as consumers. You have to serve us as citizens to get access to information, but to equally be heard. This is like Rogers told us in his Parsing of the Dominant Paradigms. People are voiceless, not because they have nothing to say. They simply are not being heard. So you, the journalists, and the media must become the conduit for the citizens to be heard. You must also serve us as consumers. In the final analysis, that is when we will be making clear, critical, and conscious choices. The starting point for journalism work in this country is not difficult to see. Section 1 of the Constitution says Gambia is a secular sovereign republic where power is derived from the people. Governance and the political economy of the state is premised on the free and conscious will of the Gambian people. This is according to the Constitution. When we go to Section 25, it gives us the right to speak our word and our mind. Everyone. The Constitution says everyone has freedom of expression. And this is crucial because I consider freedom of expression as the foundation upon which all other freedoms are built. And I will tell you why. John Stuart Mills told us in his essay, Liberty in Utilitarianism, quote unquote, there ought to exist the fullest liberty for professing and discussing as a matter of ethical conviction any doctrine, no matter how immoral it may be, unquote. In other words, everyone must be able to express him or herself, regardless of how much we may disapprove or be in agreement with that expression. Oftentimes, Voltaire is being paraphrased for saying, I disagree with what you say, but I will defend to death your right to say it. And when we contextualize this in national development, development in itself is the process that is the product of ideas. Even the fulfillment of ourselves as human beings, with value, with dignity, with what? Is the ability to speak about what we see, what we hear, and what we feel. So freedom of expression is guaranteed under Section 25 is a very fundamental freedom. Then we go way down to your role as journalist and as media. Section 207 says you must ensure the publication of divergent and dissenting opinions. What is all of this telling us? When governance should be based on the free and conscious will of the people, when the people should express themselves in whatever way or form, unfiltered, uninterrupted, undiluted, when the media must ensure that all those opinions are broadcast or published, that is the future. And that is what MAJAC is preparing. We have to produce journalists that are quite interested in the development of the Republic. And being interested in the development of the Republic does not mean you have to be a mouthpiece. Journalists are not mouthpieces of any organization, individual, or group. As my mentor Samuel Osesar will always tell us, as a journalist, you have no axe to grind with anybody. You should seek the truth and expose the truth in good faith and in the public interest. Remember, your job as journalists is not ordinary. I consider it as a constitutional obligation, and I believe it is. Let's go back to Section 207 of the Constitution. Quote unquote. The press and other information media shall be free at all times to hold government accountable to the people of the Gambia. I think that is what is there. I am not a constitutional lawyer, but I can understand basic English. So the job that we do as journalists is sanctioned by the Constitution. expose corruption, expose government wrongdoing, expose reality, show that public institutions deliver. And so the voices of the weak, the dispossessed, the disempowered, the marginalized, the impoverished are heard. And this is why Joseph Pitzer says, our press and the republic must rise and fall together. So when you are out there, because I am quite confident, you know, the Chinese philosophy teaches us that those who know teach, but those who understand demonstrate. And MAJAC understands the gravity. They understand the urgency. They understand the challenge for quality journalism education. This is why Prof. Gomez and all those invited here today, we can comfortably say that the graduates of MAJAC are equal to the task. So in your newsrooms, in your government offices, in your organizational communication centers, ensure that you are ethical. Remember, MAJAC is graduating you because MAJAC has found you worthy in both learning and in character. A journalist is not a secret service. Be open, be transparent. Follow the story wherever it leads you in the public interest and for the common good. Let us walk away from sensationalism. That is not the future. The future is objective reasoning. Stories that shape the national agenda. Stories that foster national unity, that ensures the eradication of poverty and the delivery of services to the Gambian people. Noam Chomsky told us that media is powerful. It can manufacture consent. And for journalism to be impactful, it must ensure that it becomes the bridge between the governed and the governors. Ensuring concerns are heard by duty bearers and the claims of right holders are promoted and fulfilled. The future remains bright. And the fact that we are releasing young graduates into the stream gives us even more confidence. We have to build an open society. An open society that is transparent, that is accountable, a society where institutions are in the service of the people and the people only. And our press and its journalists must remain in that vanguard. The future of the Gambia will be bright if journalists continue to uphold the duties and obligations bestowed on you by the Constitution, ensuring government is accountable. Not only government, ensuring all duty bearers are accountable for their actions and omissions, and equally ensuring that our citizens are presented with the opportunity to be heard and be able to make critical choices for themselves. It has been a long day. Unlike my teacher, I did not miss the classroom, so I won't be speaking longer. But just to assure Prof and to add my voice to what Director Mendy stated in the morning, Prof, at MAJAC there is experience, there is skill, there is expertise, there is capacity, there is competence, there is capability. Government must be seen. Government must be heard. Government must be engaging. To achieve all these in one go, MAJAC is the one-stop center where quality matches standards. So we are still appealing for you to raise the threshold even further, that quality students of MAJAC are given direct entry into the University of the Gambia. Because the UTG is the father. And until we find a structured system of partnership and collaboration to ensure that structured teaching and learning is in place, challenges will continue to subsist. And having known Prof as my mentor, he is always pragmatic, even back in the days in class. I am quite convinced that he will give this some deeper thinking. On that note, I say a big thank you to you, the graduates, for making MAJAC proud. Because when you walked in, from the director to the last teacher, no one knows what to expect. That is the character of learning institutions. You have fought, you have won. And today, this is why you are in robes. Go out there and show to the Gambian people that MAJAC is a center of excellence. To the teaching and staff corps, I was so excited this morning when I saw Barrister Barrow in the midst, and of course, Barrister Ndur. Myself, I fought with these two barristers, including Director Sang. We fought very well, but we were fighting for the future. And look at this grand graduation today. This is the vision. This is the mission. And we will continue to be of support. And MAJAC will continue to be at the service of journalism in the Gambia. Gambia Press Union. I don't know if I am still a member, but I am forever with you. And congratulations for ensuring that this baby is growing and it is working. When next we come, we want to see it flying. I thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Janneh. We apologize for the oversight, but was that too loud? Okay. Thank you very much for making that very important statement. And the graduates, I think a few things you need to remember. Your role would be to shape the Gambia's democracy. And he said in his statement, you must always seek the truth, expose the truth in good faith and in the interest of the public. So I think it is important for you to remember this going on. Thank you very much, Mr. Janneh, once again. Now what we'd like to do at this point is to invite Ms. Abibatu Sise to deliver the valedictory speech.